And joining us now is a young health tech entrepreneur and gender equality activist, Navya Naveli Nanda, who has been working on ground with the community healthcare workers. In fact, Navya, thank you so much for joining us. We went to the urban slums in Mumbai together. We saw the work which you're doing there. In fact, even Gadchiroli, the menstruation huts, the period homes. So tell me, Navya, how did you zero in on the idea to focus on issues pertaining to women?
The work that I've been doing for the last 2.5 years has been mainly focused on women's health and hygiene. And when you ask, what really motivated me to zero in on this, I'd like to share, a small story and an instance that really made me realize the depth of this problem that we have today. Last year when I was working on women's healthcare platform, Ara Health, which I co-founded, we actually had a workshop where we were conducting a health and hygiene workshop with girls between the ages of 10 and 14 years old. And we were talking to them about menstruation and the different, healthcare practices that one should do during menstruation. And a young girl of 11 years old shared with us that she was surprised when her menstrual blood was red because she thought that it would be blue because that's what we see on sanitary pad commercials on television. And that really made us understand and realize the problem, not just in accessibility to products, but just the way that we are not transparent enough about menstruation, which is, a biological process that all women, go through. And I think it was after that interaction that I realized that, we really need to amp up the awareness, the education that comes along with understanding women's health and bodies. And I think that's really the motivation behind wanting to work on a problem like this.
Navya Naveli ji, given healthcare workers like Asha are from within the community, how crucial is their role in, things like breaking prevalent taboos? Obviously, they'll be more aware of the belief system in a community and then spreading awareness.
I think without them, our work is incomplete. I mean, we can go into as many areas and localities as we can, but I think really it is their dedication and passion and the community that they have built that really makes our work that much more complete. And regarding the project, Ambika and I have visited, Gadchiroli, which was the period positive homes. That once again was something that we would not have been able to do without the support of the Asha workers. Their hand that they play and the role that they play in talking about the education that we are, talking about here, but to the women on the ground, the women who need to hear about it. And the connect that they have with the community is something that we would never have. And I think it is only due to them and their role in the system that we are able to do the work that we do and bring the kind of resources and opportunities that we have to these areas. And their role is extremely crucial, and I completely agree with what you say in terms of breaking a lot of the taboos that we see today as well. Being women themselves and working in a field where we talk about women's health and hygiene, I think that coming from them, there really is no better way to break these taboos.
Navya, thank you really so much for joining us. We've been following your work for a few years, and you are an inspiration, I must say, to all of us. It's very, very good of you to be here. I basically feel you youngsters are much better than our generation because we left you a lot of problems which I know you guys will solve. And one area we'd like you to help us with is to focus on increasing the number of Asha workers around the country from 1 million to 5 million over the next 5 years, getting governments to actually commit more funds so that their income goes up. And thirdly, and something which you youngsters know best, how important will it be to improve the role of technology in the training and upskilling all of them?
Firstly, I'd say I've not done nearly enough to be considered an inspiration. I think I seek a lot of inspiration from all of you.
I hope every youngster is listening to you and you are an inspiration, and your modesty is even more inspiring.
Thank you so much. But yes, absolutely anything I can do to help increase the number of Asha workers from 1 to 5 million, I would be more than happy to do. But when you talk about technology, I think, we've seen over the last few years the increase in internet penetration that India as a country itself has seen. We, have estimated till, by 2030 to have almost 1.3 billion internet users in India. And more surprisingly, we see, 373 million rural internet users today in 2020 itself. So that really goes to show the depth and, how fast we have scaled up internet access in India today. And using technology, I think, is one of the most powerful tools, like you rightfully mentioned, not just for the youth, but also to bridge the gap that we sometimes see between urban and rural areas. And I think that with the use of technology, with the use of platforms such as social media, using them responsibly to advocate and talk about issues, we can reach so many more people than we have, in the last couple of years. And that number will only grow. And I think, like you said, it's the responsibility of youngsters like us, to take up that role and really take charge in using these platforms and mediums responsibly to talk about issues such as this.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नव्या नवेली जी हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए.